This breath work might seem boring and basic, but it actually works, and it's what I use when I'm spiralling and when I'm overthinking. It works because it brings our mind and our body back under control. When we're overthinking and we're spiralling and we're going down that little rabbit hole of what ifs, what happens is that the rational part of the brain shuts down and the survival part of the brain kicks in, so the amygdala and the fear responses of the brain. And that means that then we're not rationally thinking, so the overthinking actually gets worse. So to control and to manage the overthinking in the brain, the best way to do that is to come back to the body. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this video. Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm a qualified breathwork and somatics coach, and I've got over 1,000 hours of training in both of those modalities. I work with busy women to help them to regulate their nervous system responses so they can expand their capacity to be able to do more. So you might be asking yourself, well, why do I overthink in the first place? And this is a combination of factors. So it can be a dysregulated nervous system, when the nervous system and the body feels aroused, in danger and not safe. This will trigger activity in the brain, which triggers the fear response. That then triggers more feelings in the body. And so we get into this continual loop. It can also be a practice thing. And in terms of like how the brain works, the more we engage with overthinking, the more we go down rabbit holes and allow our brain to continue down that loop, like 15, 20 steps ahead, then the more the brain will want to do that. That's the neural pathway that we're actually practicing to make stronger. And what we want to do is we want to interrupt that overthinking response, and we want to train a different neural pathway, one that's more healthy to us. The brain doesn't differentiate between that neural pathway is good, that neural pathway is bad. It only differentiates between neural pathways that are going to keep us alive. So something that we're doing that's not that healthy for us, the brain won't interrupt if that's the route that's gone down more often, because that's the route that's going to take less energy for the brain to go down, and the brain is a survival machine. Basically, it's keeping us alive. So this is why overthinking happens. So I'm going to guide you through a 2-minute practice right now called Coherence Breathing or Heart Coherence Breathing. And after we've done the practice and you can feel the response in your body and how it works, I'm going to tell you the science behind it. But let's just feel that first. So find yourself a comfortable place. You can sit in a chair like I am, or you can sit on the floor. If you're in a chair, you need something with a supported back. So cushion behind you, back flat against the chair, feet firmly on the floor. And you might want to just lower the gaze or close the eyes. Now, if you're doing this, you can actually do this wherever you are. You don't have to close the eyes, but it helps when you first start to do it to close the eyes and to bring the attention more inwards. So we're going to start by gently lowering the gaze or closing the eyes and just bringing attention to your breath and noticing if you're using your mouth or your nose to breathe. And if you're breathing through your mouth, I'd like you to gently close your lips and breathe only through your nose. So we're going to inhale for a count of 5, and you'll need to extend the inhale, nice long and slow breath. And we're going to also exhale for a count of 5. And again, we want to extend that and make it nice and long and slow. And it may help, if you've never done this breath work before, to place a hand on your tummy and a hand on your chest. And as you inhale, we're inhaling deeply into the lower hand. And as you exhale, you're feeling that lower hand falling. And as you inhale, the lower hand is rising. So with me, on my count, inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, and out 2, 3, 4, 5, in and out. Dropping the shoulders, in and out, feeling your feet heavy on the floor, in and out, relaxing the jaw, in and out, uncreasing the forehead, in I am safe. In and out. And in and out. And in, nowhere to go. And out, nothing to do. Inhaling. And your final exhale, let's have a sigh. Well done. So that was coherence breathing, and I'm now going to tell you the science behind why that works. So coherence breathing, or it's sometimes called heart coherence breathing, you could look it up, but it's had lots of studies done on it, and it's been proven to be like one of the most effective breathworks for bringing our body back into parasympathetic rest and digest state. And the reason for that is it increases what's known as heart rate variability. Now, heart rate variability is the number of times or the space between our heartbeat. And the greater heart rate variability is, the better. The lower it is, the more stressed we are. So basically what heart rate variability is measuring is the ability of our heart to vary according to demand. That's the way I think of it. So if you're in a stressful situation, you want your heart to be able to speed up, but you don't want your heart to continue to stay in that sped up state for like hours after that stressful situation is finished. You want your heart to be able to be variable, to have variability, and to come back down into rest. So coherence breathing actually increases heart rate variability, and they've done studies on this and shown that this is true. And also, well, the other thing that coherence breathing does, which I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is it closes down this fear response in the amygdala, and it actually increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, which is our decision-making engine, basically. So, you know, if you're in business, if you're about to do something important in work, if you're about to go into an important social event, you want that prefrontal cortex to be switched on, that rational decision-making part of the brain. You don't want to be operating from a place of fear. You want to be operating from a grounded, steady place. So all of these things is what coherence breathing will help you to do. So this is why coherence breathing is my go-to breathwork type for calming down my nervous system, for stopping overthinking, and for bringing myself back to a grounded place where I can make good decisions. And if you want more tools like this, I'll pop a link below for my free nervous system reset online course. It's got 4 more tools exactly like this to help you to regulate your nervous system in a practical way on a day-to-day basis. Thank you for watching.